Okay, well, we are on to week 5. I hope you enjoyed week 4 as we had some fun exercises with communication, and now we're down to the final 2 weeks of your first course. And this week is a critical one because we're going to start to break up into your learning teams or your study groups to work on your presentation. The other thing we're going to do is decide on a class representative. However, Dan in the class has already volunteered to be the class representative for this class. So what the class representative's role is that if you ever have an instructor or a situation with Baker that it's clearly not what you had expected, or if there's a strong miscommunication either between the institution and you or the faculty member and you, then you would rely on Dan, and Dan can be kind of the spokesperson for your entire class. So throughout the entire program, if you ever have some situations where you feel like the university needs to be made aware, then Dan would be kind of the spokesperson. Also, in addition to that, we have what are called class representative meetings about once or twice a year, and so Dan would then come in, and typically I attend those as well as the student services manager, and we communicate any pertinent information that you all feel, or we all feel that you probably need to know about. So any major changes or anything that may impact your experience at Baker. So this week is about leadership and technology, and so this is the last reading week of the course. So I hope you're enjoying that book, and I hope you're enjoying Lee Thompson. She has a unique perspective, and I think she does a nice job of just clearly wrapping up team development, the team concept, what makes a successful team, and also what makes an unsuccessful team. And so this week's mini lecture has to do with leadership and management. And so in class, if we were in class, we would have a great discussion about the differences between leadership and management, and whether a good leader needs to be a manager or whether all managers need to be a leader. And a lot of people have different philosophies on that. And I feel that you can be a good manager and you're not necessarily going to be a great leader. And at the same time, you could be a great leader, but you're not going to be a good manager. And the perfect example, or the analogy, or the example that I like to use is when you look at the Chicago Bulls back in the 80s and the 90s when they were winning all these NBA championships. Phil Jackson was the clear manager of the team. He was the coach of the team, but the leader on that entire team was Michael Jordan. So Michael Jordan was not the manager, he was a leader. And so that team had both a manager and a leader. And so when you look at the idea behind a manager, typically a very good manager, it's a function. It's a functional role. And that person's going to be very good at planning, and that person's probably going to be very good at process. And so a good manager is going to focus on the planning aspect, and the process aspect is also going to be the person that's really detail-oriented and has a good handle on what's in the budget and how we're trending in comparison to the budget. The manager is also going to be the one that does the semi-annual, or some organizations have quarterly evaluations. The manager is going to be the one that does one-on-ones, has those team meetings on a weekly basis. And the manager is also going to be the one that sort of facilitates information from maybe upper management or the leaders, and does kind of the facilitation of messaging or information in a team concept, or in a team environment. The leader, on the other hand, it's going to be someone who's very focused on relationships. And a leader is someone that has the ability to make a relationship with a stranger, in fact, has never met a stranger. And so typically a good leader is going to be very authentic, very genuine. You're going to feel like the leader just knows who you are from the moment they say, he or she says hello. The leader is going to be very good at selecting talent. A leader can typically identify who's going to be successful in which role. The leader is typically very motivating, can provide some motivation, and can be inspiring, and can be kind of a model that other people like to look up to or aspire to be like. The leader is going to be the person that does a lot of the mentoring and coaching, career development, and people seek out that person's opinion because they feel that person has wisdom and is going to guide them and down the correct path. And the last thing that the leader is going to have is the ability to build trust. And so a great leader, just in the way they talk and the way they communicate and the way they carry themselves, will have the opportunity or the ability to create a very trustworthy environment. And so, in a great organization, you would have clear leaders. And again, the leader doesn't have to be the CEO standing at the top of the organization, but every organization should have leaders and should have strong managers. And those don't have to be one and the same. In some cases, they are. And some managers are outstanding leaders. And so you don't have to have one or the other, but at the same time, you don't have to have both either. So that's this week's mini lecture. Now go to the discussion forum. We'll talk a little bit more about leadership and management. We'll also talk a little bit about technology. And so if you have any questions in regards to the paper or any of the assignments from this point forward, please know you can always reach out to me. Thanks.